Hey guys, how you going? Paul here again, and welcome back to Smoking Pellets. Now, we're not actually cooking anything today, but what I did want to do is just run you through 5 little tips that I have learnt in my very short time of owning my own pellet smoker. If you've had anything to do with my site or channel, you'll see that at time of shooting this anyway, I am very new to the world of pellet smoking. I've done about 4 or 5 cooks on this now, slowly getting used to it. But there are some things that I learnt along the way and some mistakes I've made. So, I will do a proper tips for pellet smoking, with all the usual things, consistent temperature, you choosing the right pellets, etc., etc. But today I wanted to run you through the 5 things that I have learnt which have really helped me, or mistakes to avoid. Now, the first one, and I cannot stress this enough, is do not run out of pellets in that pellet hopper. I did, and luckily I had my external probe sitting there, and I was looking at it thinking, oh, this pork should be coming out of the store by now, and it wasn't. And then I looked at the smoker temperature, and it was falling, and it was because when I opened up my little pellet hopper here, it was empty. So went to the instruction manual. It's a whole big process on these ones anyway. I don't know about the high model ones. This may not be as big an issue on them, but you've got to clean out the hopper. You've got to reprime the auger, because if it's run out, it means there's no pellets in that auger. So it's got to go through all again before pellets start dripping back into that tray. So effectively, mid-cook, I had to go through that whole priming part again to get the smoker ready to cook. Luckily, I was doing pork, so to be honest, it sat there. It was in the covered stage as well, so it sat there for about half an hour while I had to reset it all. So first tip, come out, if you're doing a longer cook, you'll get used to in time. See, I'm not actually used to in time and how long my hopper takes to empty yet. I'll start timing that, I think. And that is probably the tip there. Time how long it takes your hopper to run out, because if you're doing a longer cook, you want to come back in and refill it. Otherwise, you're going to have to go through that whole stuff again. Tip number 2, while we're talking about pellets, is if you are not going to be using your smoker for a little while, or it looks like rain above, empty your hopper or cover it. I bought a cover. I don't know how effective that is. I can keep mine under cover. Behind the camera, there's a little gazebo area. I can keep it under cover there. But what happened to me was we had a bit of rain, a bit of a storm. Next time I came into my hopper, it was the pellets were damp. So I again had to clean them all out, start again. The auger was that the ones in the auger were okay, but inside the pellet were damp, had to clean it out, refill. Cost me to, lost pellets and stuff like that. But if you left them in there, you're not going to find a consistent temperature, consistent smoke, because anything that's wet, as we know, doesn't cook as well. Now, the other thing with that is, you cannot see this obviously on the camera, we'll come close, but I don't even think you'll be able to see it there, is your pellets need to have a nice shine to them. So if you are going to leave, and this is in the normal tips, if you're not going to use your pellet smoker for a while, remove the pellets, put them back in the bag, keep them fresh, and save them from going stale. But in the short term, thing I learned was don't leave your pellets in there if it's looking like rain or you can't get it to a place where it's protected. Okay, third one there is something I learned about the ongoing cleaning and use of it, is if I take the grill out, under the grill, in most, I dare say all pellet smokers, there is a little drip tray which is on an angle and goes down and drips into this little bucket here. Now, most photos I've seen of most pellet smokers, as I say, I'm used to it and haven't used any other one but this one yet. They have the little drip tray there. What I found after my first cook is that it took me quite a while. I'll take this out. And I don't know if you can see on there the staining and stuff on there. That's because it took me quite a while to clean it, because all the dripping off the meat through the grill obviously went down onto the drip tray. So how I solved that, and this is what I learned, is get yourself a hot plate liner. Go to a barbecue shop, get yourself a hot plate liner. They're not that expensive, and they're just a big bit of plastic. What they're designed to do is to go on top of the grill plate for people who don't want to get their barbecues all greasy and dirty and stuff like that, people put them on top of their plates and actually cook on that liner. What I have started doing is actually putting the grill liner on the drip tray. I'm happy for the grill to be open because I think that's probably better for the smoke coming through underneath the meat anyway. But what it does is when I'm cooking with my food on the grill tray, I mean, I still have to clean the grill tray, but all the dripping down through drips on the liner, that comes off. It cleans off so much easier than the actual drip tray itself. So that was my third tip. Fourth one, I've got to take everything out again, I should have left it all out, is to prime the hopper before you start. This is something I've seen in a couple of videos. Now, as you start a smoker, obviously the pellets come through the hopper and drop into the hopper. What I actually learnt this from a couple of videos I've watched. I've watched a lot of videos on pellet smoking, but what I learnt was that if you get a few of your pellets and just drop them into the burn pot, probably about 5 or 10, what that does is that gives and make sure your auger's primed obviously, but what that does is that gives the pellet smoker something to burn straight up, and it gives you a good base to get your temperature up to that consistent temperature very, very quickly. And what I also did find is actually got my spike out the way a lot earlier as well. Something that this smoker does, and from, again, reading a few of them do, is as the first lot of pellets come in, doesn't matter what you set on there. So I know all the cooks I've done so far, I've had 107 degrees Celsius, which is about 225 Fahrenheit. What I've found is it spikes to around 120 to 130 degrees Celsius, and then eases back down to where it's supposed to be. And from there, it stays pretty good. But if you can prime that early, it gets that out the way early. So that's the next thing I learned, was to prime my firebox before I started. And added safety tip, something I didn't know, but I hadn't done it, but something I didn't know, is never, ever, ever, ever start your Traeger smoker or any smoker with the lid closed. Always have it open when that first lot of smoke starts to come through. If you have it started with closed, that's what can cause explosions. So I've seen. Haven't experienced that luckily, but yeah, keep that open, but priming your hopper. And the last thing, the tip I've got for you, is actually something for someone like me who, starting with pellet smoking, I have a small charcoal bullet smoker. The reason I went to this one was mainly because I didn't have the time. My smoker isn't of the, it's one of those ones you put together, metal one. Had to constantly watch the temperature, had to constantly put the charcoal in. Great results, but takes a lot of time. I wanted something with what we do on weekends. We've got kids playing sport, we're in and out with our business, all that sort of stuff. I wanted something I can set and forget. That's why I went to that. And that takes my last tip, is relearn everything. This does not work the same as a charcoal smoker. The timings it takes to cook the meat, I'm finding, are different. The temperatures that it gets to early are different. The way the meat behaves at different times that I was used to in a charcoal smoker are different. I think a lot of that's to do with the fact that I've got a more constant temperature on the pellet smoker than I did the charcoal smoker. But, just all those little things that I'm learning, having to relearn about the actual smoker itself compared to what a charcoal smoker does. I mean, this one's a lot cleaner. You can't see it in my hands now, but this one's generally a lot cleaner to work on. But that one, you weren't so worried about grease-proofing drip trays and stuff like that because it all sort of fell through the bottom. So just, if you're starting for this new, then obviously you'll learn. If you're coming from a charcoal smoker, just take the time to relearn what it is you're doing. And that's it, guys. That's my 5 tips that I've learned. So just to recap, do not run out of pellets. Trust me. Learn how long it takes you to empty a pellet, your pellet smoker to empty a hopper. And before that time, fill it again. Second one is watch your pellets. Don't let them get wet or exposed to the elements, because you'll just have to replace them, and that will affect your cook. Number 3, use the tray liner. Wherever that's gone, I think the wind's blown away now, but use the tray liner underneath on top of your drip tray. Number 4 was prime the hopper. Put some pellets in the hopper there to start with. That'll help you get through that initial burst quickly and then get your temperature at a faster rate. And number 5, relearn everything you thought you knew, because I've had to make this successful. That's it, guys. Hope that was helpful. Comment below. I'd love to hear of anything that you've done with your new pellet smoker that you learnt that you had to adjust, or learnings. I'll probably come back to you after another month and do another 5 things I've learned, or any other tips and tricks you've got for newbies with pellet smokers. Comment below. If you're watching YouTube, as always, please like and subscribe to below as well. Okay, guys, have fun. Keep smoking. Chat to you soon. Bye.